Hey guys, today I want to talk about the biggest rookie mistakes new expats make when coming to the Philippines. The first one is bring a pen. You're always going to need a pen on the plane, and that's one thing you're going to need for sure for filling out your customs papers or whatever other documents you may need to fill out that they'll hand you on the way here. The other rookie mistake is get a little bit of pesos or cash for the Philippines before you get here. Usually I would say $400 or $500 in pesos should suffice. Then later on you can cash in and get more later on. And usually at the airport is the worst place to cash your money in. But if you need to, sure, you can do it there. But some of the best places are at some of the small like Walmarts or malls where you can get some of the best deals for exchanging your money sometimes. Look around, shop around. Sometimes you can get as much as a half a peso difference. And if you go to a bad place, sometimes you can lose a lot. So you want to be careful, especially if you're cashing in thousands of dollars. It can make a lot of difference. The other rookie mistake is make sure, and this is key, that your cash is clean. It's clean, it's not written on, it's not bent or ripped. Try to get the newest cash you can get to bring over here, if possible, in $100 bills. Put it in an envelope where it's not bent and it won't get marked wet or anything else. Try not to get older cash. Try to get the newest cash, newest bundle of cash that you can get. Do not bring over, I always tell people, try not to bring over $9,000, because if you got $1,000 in your wallet and you got a couple of hundred in your pocket or something like that, you're already over the $10,000 limit. So you got to be careful not to go over that $10,000 limit, or they'll take it away from you. And you got to be extra careful of that. The other thing is, when you're coming out of the airport, that's when you get your SIM card. Usually when you come out of the airport, you'll see a place for Smart, or it might have both Smart and Globe cards. You get cards like this here, okay? This here, you can also get your SIM cards there. They're usually fairly cheap. But better yet, if you really, really want to have it be ready for when you get here, go on eBay. And go on eBay and you can get Smart cards and SIM cards both on eBay. Okay, there's places on there that sell it. You can get Globe or Smart or both if you want, and you can be ready for when you get over here. Also, have your phone unlocked. Make sure your phone is unlocked. Call the company to check to see if it's unlocked. A lot of guys get over here and they find out too late that, guess what? Their phone wasn't unlocked. The company had told them earlier it was unlocked, but it really wasn't unlocked. And don't come over here with your Cricket phones or these junky old phones that they have that are like older than 4 years old or something like that. Sometimes they don't work over here. And a lot of guys that have come over here lately got these 6-year-old phones. There are these beat up old Android phones or Cricket phones or Jitterbug phones or whatever they got. And they're coming over here with these phones and they just don't cut it over here. They're just no good. You need to have a decent phone. Have a decent Samsung or a decent iPhone. Something like that. You know, iPhones, usually they'll work no matter what, no matter how old they are. Samsung, they start aging out a little bit, but they also last quite a long time over here. And you know, I have an iPhone 13 Pro Max. Okay, it's a good phone. I do my videos on there. That's why I like it. It does great photography. It does great videos, and it works out really, really great. You really want to have kind of a nice phone over here if you're going to be doing videos, photography, or whatever. I tell people, I just saw a beautiful yellow bird fly by here. I don't know what it was, but it was really pretty. It was a yellow and black bird. I don't know. It might have been somebody's pet or something like that, but whatever it was a beautiful bird. Anyway, we see a lot of birds down here that are quite rare. Also, guys, that just threw me off a little bit because I've never seen that bird down here at all. But anyway, it was kind of cool. Also, guys, when you come out of the airport, when you jump into a taxi, make sure that the guy has the meter going, okay? Or use a Grab, and that way you're already set, because it has a set, you know, it presets it on the phone. It tells you what the amount is you're gonna be paying to go from here to there, okay? And you also want to make sure before you come here that your room is the size that you want it, okay? Make sure it's not too small for you, and that way there, when you tell them, hey, can you move me to a bigger room? What some of the hotels do sometimes is then they'll upgrade you to the bigger room. But the money that they lost on Expedia by paying Expedia, they'll make up when they move you to a bigger room, and they'll charge you extra so that they can make up the difference or what have you. In some cases, they'll do that. Some hotels won't, but some do. So be careful about that. Also, guys, when you're here in the Philippines, make sure you carry a backpack with you. Make sure you have a small backpack that you can carry with you wherever you go. You want to carry some wet wipes with you, because when you go into restaurants and some places, a mall or whatever, when you go in there, usually there's no toilet paper in some places. Some restaurants have it, some restaurants don't. Some malls have it, some malls don't. It's always good to have like wipes or what have you with you at all times. And also when you're sweating or you're on a Jeep near you've been traveling around, it's kind of nice to be able to freshen up when you go in someplace or whatever, and you have those wipes. You can wipe your face or whatever. Also have like a towel in there that you can wipe off your sweat or whatever when you're going around to different places. It kind of helps out a little bit. And have some baby powder you can wear sometimes. That also helps you. There's also some Vaseline that you can get in the Philippines, and you'll see it. It's Vaseline lotion, not the regular Vaseline. It's Vaseline lotion. And when you get it, it says lowers the body temperature by 4°C. Okay, so 4 Celsius, it lowers your body temperature by. So you want to make sure you get something like that. That's really, really good to have. It's great. It'll help you out a lot. It'll keep you cooler. Also, you can get one of those AC things to wear on your neck. Make sure you don't get just the fan. You want to get the one with the Peltier effect that has the cooling plate in the back, or the two cooling plates in the front. Get one of those. That'll help you a lot around here. It'll keep you cooler. And your first days in the Philippines will be a lot more enjoyable that way. And also, guys, biggest thing to leave behind is your attitude. Okay, because when you first get here, you're gonna be running into a lot of problems, phone issues, and some of those phone issues can be alleviated by what I told you. Okay, being ready when you land in the airport, when you get in the airport, as soon as you get in the airport, then put this card on. You scratch the back, and it tells you what to do. And the writing in the back is kind of small on the back of these guys. Bring a magnifying glass so you can read the back. Okay, take it in your front pocket, the magnifying glass, and you can upload your card. You have to scratch the back. It tells you exactly how to load it. As long as you got the smart SIM card or the Globe SIM card, you scratch the back and you follow the directions, and it tells you what to do. It's very simple. It's very easy to do. Most of those things, if you do those things when you get here, you'll be fine. But leave the attitude behind. You know, the first month here, I'll say you're going to have a hard time. You're going to order food. They're going to mess it up. I went today into a restaurant, and you're going to have to live with some of this to a certain point, because I think it's a language thing. A lot of it is a language thing. You expect the lady at the register to be able to understand you, and they really are used to more Tagalog than they are English. So what happens is, like today, I'll give you an example, prime example. I ordered a hot dog. I asked the lady 3 times. I says, I want a hot dog with relish, mustard, and onions. I says, do you have relish, mustard, and onions? And she said yes. And I says, so you have relish, you have mustard, and you have onions. I repeated to her a few times. She says, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, guess what? When my order came, they had relish, they had mustard, but no onions. So we asked the people behind the counter. I says, don't you guys put onions on your pizza? I was at SNR. And they said yes. I says, so you have onions, right? And they says yes. And I says, well, can I have some onions from my hot dog? They said no. And I says, why not? They says they don't have any onions for the hot dog. And I says, but you have them for the pizza, but you don't have them for the hot dogs. And they says yes. And I says, well, why can't you just give me some of those? They says no. And after that, I just said, I'm not even going to bother asking, because sometimes our common sense is not their common sense, and you're dealing sometimes with kids behind the counter. They don't get it. They're not thinking while you're talking to them, because you're trying to project the answer to the problem to them, but they just don't get it. It doesn't compute. And sometimes it's best to just leave people alone like that. And I just say, okay, I'll just move on. Next problem. I'll live with my relish, and I'll live with my mustard and my hot dog, and I'll be happy. And sometimes you just have to live like that over here. I just don't even push it sometimes. Sometimes you're going to walk away and you're going to shake your head and you're just going to say, okay. And I'm sure sometimes they walk away shaking their heads at us too, for whatever reason it may be. And it might be the wrong reason or it might be the right reason, but it happens all the time. And sometimes you'll just laugh it off and just walk back to your table and say, okay. And sometimes we do that over here. And, like they say, it's more fun in the Philippines. But anyway, guys, those are the biggest rookie mistakes. I can't really think of any more. Those are the biggest ones, though. Remember, The biggest ones are your pen. I'll go over them real quick. The money, bring some money with you. Make sure there's no rips, tears, or writing on the currency. Try to make it as new as possible. If possible, $100 bills or $50 bills or whatever. Make sure it's the newest currency, not the old currency. You don't want to bring any old currency over here. It has to all be new. Make sure it's as new as can be. You know, and I got my dog right here. She just come up to visit me and say hi. But anyway, guys, you know, and then remember, magnifying glass for this here. Trust me, you'll need a magnifying glass for that. You can barely read that when you scratch that. If you wear glasses like me, you'll understand what I'm talking about. And then taxis, make sure they turn the meter on, and don't do any negotiating with them. If they get out of the cab, if they don't have the meter on, just tell them, look, I don't ride in any cabs unless the meter's on. Are you going to do it or not? And you know, if they say no, say, well, I'm out, and then ask them to unload your luggage. You know, or make sure that you deal with them before they load the luggage. You're going to put the meter on before I put my luggage in this car? Tell them that. You know, you always have to think ahead in the Philippines. If you think ahead and you think wisely, you'll do fine in the Philippines. You know, a lot of us, though, as we age, we don't think ahead. We're still thinking in yesterday's terms because we're a little bit slower because we're getting older. And I know a lot of the guys in their 60s and 70s, sometimes you might want to write some of this stuff down that I tell you. Write it down. You know, because you might need that written down so you can look at it and say, well, Steve said this here. Steve said, you know, this here. Steve said to, you know, exchange my money at a Walmart or something later on. You know, but make sure you have some cash on you. Make sure you ask the hotel when you talk to them on the phone or whatever, you know, or you check the room. Make sure that room size is going to be okay for you. Check on all those things. You'll be okay then. God bless, guys. Take care. I love you guys.